our values conflict sometimes, and it's making choices in those moments that help you clarify who you are and what you value in this world. And that's adulting. I came here as a scholarship kid. First gen, loaded up with Pell Grants, work study, which is actually quite isolating. I never went on a spring break. I never studied abroad. I never had an unpaid internship. I needed all my time to be billable. Good morning to the family, friends, parents, grandparents, caregivers, faculty, and my fellow nominees, honorees, on stage with me today. You are all incredibly esteemed in your fields, and I did in fact make cocaine bear, so we are all doctors now. Dr. Elizabeth Banks, who's been asked to address you today, presumably because I have been cast as an oversexed alcoholic multiple times. That's made me more relatable to all yous. And because fellow alum John Legend already did it, now he may be an EGOT, but I have 3 MTV Movie Awards. For all you young people, MTV stands for Music Television, so obviously they gave out awards in film. As you know, I am a proud Penn alum. College 96. And it is really fun being back here in West Philly and to be standing here in this historic Franklin Field to celebrate your triumphant graduation today. But the most impactful lessons I took away from my time here were not academic per se. They were mostly about adulting. For example, I had a class with a tough professor that met only once a week on Fridays. And because the class was small and met so infrequently, absences were not excused and would result in half a grade deduction. An A became an A minus, and so on. So on for other people, I had an A, obviously. So I went to the professor right away because my cousin's wedding was coming up, and I had planned to drive down with my family on a Friday. No problem, she said, but you'll lose your A. But I was expected to go. I couldn't let down my family, I told her. I promised I'd make up the work. I gave her all the reasons why she should not penalize me, but she stuck to her guns. It's your choice, and that choice has consequences in your life. It felt impossible what she was asking. My GPA versus my family? How could I choose between the two? I basically gave it the same weight as Meryl Streep deciding which kid to turn over to the Nazis. Meanwhile, she was so blasé about the entire interaction because in her mind, she was an adult talking to another adult, which was honestly news to me. I still felt like a kid, and maybe a lot of you do too. But she was telling me, no, you're an adult, you have agency, which is a really powerful thing to tell a young person. You are in control of your life. And also, you're not entitled to anything, and yeah, that second one, it does kind of suck. In the end, I went to my cousin's wedding, and I took the hit. I drove to Tennessee with my family, including my grandmother, who sat in the middle seat for 7 hours. I had a wonderful time. My Grammy passed away soon after, and my cousin, just a few years older than me, she's gone now too. I have never regretted that choice. I didn't graduate summa cum laude, and that's never come up, not once. The profound lesson I learned through all this was that our values conflict sometimes, and it's making choices in those moments that help you clarify who you are and what you value in this world. And that's adulting. It's not just cleaning your hair out of the drain of a shared shower or sink, which you should absolutely do. It's the series of decisions you make when your values conflict, GPA or family, creativity or security, loyalty or personal growth, love or money. Your path is guaranteed to be paved with these decisions. The artist de Kooning said the problem with being poor is that it takes up all your time. I came here as a scholarship kid. First gen, loaded up with Pell Grants, work study, which is actually quite isolating. I never went on a spring break. I never studied abroad. I never had an unpaid internship. I needed all my time to be billable. I was privileged to look like a rich girl, a city girl, a girl who had ridden in a yellow taxi and should rush tabard, but no. I had, in fact, never ridden in a yellow taxi and should be a tri-delt. I found a rusted 10-speed bike in the basement of a frat house, tuned it up, rode it around for 3 years, and left it unlocked on 40th and Irving the day I graduated. Why was I in the basement of a frat house? You know why. The point is, I didn't come to Penn to pursue a career in the arts. I came here to use the best tool for class migration that's ever existed, higher education. And that was it. It was a low bar. Be employable, hopefully well paid. When people ask me when I knew I wanted to be an actor, my answer is when I got paid for it. Was I passionate about it? Sure. Did it bring me self-esteem and joy? It did. But I was practical, pragmatic. But during my time here, I began to think differently. I was in control of my life. And I was working hard to build the confidence, the life skills, the connections, and the grit to believe success at anything I devoted myself to was possible. Now, some of you know this already, but for those who don't, today represents an amazing achievement for sure. But what you're all getting today is not just a diploma, but a safety net. And I don't just mean the Ivy League degree. Nobody here, not a single one of you, got to this ceremony alone, me included. Somebody encouraged you, loved you, bandaged your skin knee, fed you, taught you. All of that support, that's your safety net too. And your job from here on out is to pursue anything and everything that scares you with absolute vigor because you have that safety net. When I got accepted to drama school to pursue an acting career, the most impractical dream there is, despite a prohibitive cost, I went. And after drama school, when I went to New York City and got offered a 2-year contract on a soap opera that would have paid all my student loans and then some, I said, you know, if I can get that today, I'd like to see what I can get tomorrow. Because money was suddenly a value I didn't always have to choose. I could invest in myself. But full disclosure, after turning down all that money, I did call my mom from a payphone and cried hysterically. And for the young people, a payphone is a public phone that's mounted to a wall or a box sometimes that you put coins in to make a call. And also coins are small round metal pieces of money. So many of you are rightfully excited about what's next and worried about what you don't have yet. So let this just be a reminder to appreciate what you've already got. You have nothing to lose. You have loads of time, I promise. Use that freedom because your life, it's not going to be determined by your first job or your second, especially because those first jobs, they usually stink. Or they're in a city that you don't like, surrounded by people you don't connect with. I went to grad school in San Francisco right after Philly, and immediately knew I wouldn't be settling there. Naked people on bicycles is too much, even for me. You will need to keep expanding the idea of who you are and what you can be. I used my agency to create my own opportunities. Rather than wait for those great acting gigs, I started producing, writing, directing, hosting a game show, becoming an investor, an entrepreneur, podcasting. Was this all in response to overwhelming disappointment? Yeah. Failure is a great motivator. And what's better? All of that made pie for other people too. I created jobs and opportunities for others by selling ideas for TV and movies, like the Pitch Perfect films inspired by my time, right here. You can ask Ken Masala, who sang in Pitch Perfect 2. The truth is that if the pie was real, there'd never be any progress. People who didn't get their slice would do what? Accept it? Many do, and their lives stay small. Blame someone else? Ooh, that's petty. And it breeds resentment that only serves, well, no one. You're really only ever competing with yourself, with the limitations you're willing to accept, with the smallness of someone else's idea of what you're capable of. So stop competing and start beating the pie lie. You will fail to get exactly what you want at some point, and that is your best opportunity to clarify what it is you really want and pivot if you have to. You've got the safety net to do it. No, but I need this thing, you'll say. But in that single-minded pursuit, you will risk ignoring all the other opportunities waving at you from the periphery. So at every perceived failure, look inward and ask yourself, what are you really after? Is it money, admiration, flexibility, credibility? Get real with yourself and figure out how to get it some other way, your path. Create, collaborate, build, join. In my industry, we like to say, rejection is protection. In time, I always came to see why I didn't get the part. Congratulations, Quakers, class of 2025. Thank you, and may the odds be ever in your favor.